Now, I mentioned he came from Southampton. Interestingly enough, that is the club that recently tried to hire Jesse Marsch, but Jesse turned down the job. Lots of people are connecting those dots, including another recent guest of this podcast, Doug McIntyre. He tweeted that this appointment makes Marsch now the odds-on favorite to be the next U.S. coach. Is that how you see it?
Again, it goes back to, biases that people come with and baggage that people come with. And, if he's coming in, all already hot and bothered and not bothered, but excited about the potential of Jesse Marsch, which obviously in previous positions he has had an affinity for, then that certainly puts Jesse in a better position. And again, this isn't to say that he's not going to, I would hope, do his due diligence if and when he is hiring somebody and make sure that he has a good collection of candidates. But if that's somebody that he really likes and in this position he sees is the best candidate, it's going to come from a position of him understanding and having a knowledge and already showing a flirtation in the past with him. So yeah, I think Jesse was always going to be a part of that conversation no matter what. But again, in life, you have to have connections, you have to have relationships, you have to have contacts, and when you have them, utilizing them and maximizing them, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that.
If Matt Crocker had any sense of humor, he would appoint one of his relatives as the next manager. But, you do hear whenever an American goes to work abroad, you do hear that they need to understand the soccer culture of that country. When it works the other way, to what degree does Matt Crocker now need to immerse himself in American soccer culture and really understand what that is? How would you define American soccer culture, I guess, is where we should start out.
I would define it as incredibly complex and incredibly, at times, frustrating probably, but also that's not an excuse for not understanding it, and that's certainly not an excuse for ignoring it. Not that he or anybody would do that. But again, I think inherent in this position and this job is a recognition that you are going to do the things, if you don't have that intrinsic knowledge and that history within the game, of immersing yourself in it and understanding, because there's no way you can understand the challenges that you have unless you have some nuance, unless you have some depth, unless you have some understanding, and that can be gotten. Yes, it's complex, but again, immersing yourself in the country and culture that you are working for and that you are working to improve, I think that's a no-brainer. I don't think that's crazy to expect. And I would say from an internal perspective, your USSF, insist that somebody do that. And I think, because I don't think, one, you're not doing your job, and two, I think you're not giving yourself every opportunity to do the best job that you possibly can if you don't understand it. And again, a new set of eyes may look at it and say, well, in the past, okay, so now I understand this situation relative to American soccer, and this, whether it's our youth systems or our college system or all that. And in the past, this was the answer to this question that we were asking. I'm going to have a different answer because of all of the history that I have, and maybe a seed that was planted long ago in his experience in Europe, in his experience growing up, and his experience in the men's and women's game brings something new in terms of looking at situations that have long been there and challenges that have long been there. At least that's the hope that you get. And ultimately, this is a national team. Okay, this isn't a club team. This is a national team. And a national team obviously represents a nation. So you are now a representative of the United States of America. And again, in the same way that I don't want a mercenary running around on the field representing my country, I don't want someone working for that team that represents my country that is in there simply in a mercenary capacity. And so after you get paid and after all the hoopla, you certainly, I would hope, would feel something for the good that you are doing through soccer for what I feel is the greatest country in the world. and I hope that Mr. Crocker, anybody who is working there, is able to tap into that pride, because without it, then it's just another job. And this is not just another job.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.